Have you ever stopped to think about why, as we get older, we start to crave more quiet and less noise? Why do some relationships begin to feel burdensome, and why do we become so protective of our time, energy, and peace? If you've ever felt like the world around you is just too overwhelming or have wondered how to find true tranquility as you age, then this video is exactly what you need. In the next few minutes, I'll be sharing the profound lessons I've learned in my 70s about the value of time, the importance of nurturing meaningful relationships, and the sense of freedom that comes from embracing solitude. As we grow older, we naturally become more selective about where we invest our energy, and I'll explain why this shift leads to a greater sense of inner peace and true happiness. But this isn't just about my reflections. There's solid science behind why this change occurs. Why, as we age, our brains prioritize deep, meaningful connections and a sense of inner calm over the constant noise and chaos of life. By the end of this video, you'll understand why protecting your time, being intentional about the people you let into your life, and even embracing periods of solitude can be the key to living a more fulfilling, peaceful life. If you're ready to learn how to reclaim your peace and rediscover what truly matters in your life, stay with me. This journey into self-care, wisdom, and serenity is just getting started. Let's dive in. Before we get started, if you haven't already, I encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Your support means the world to me, and if this video resonates with you, please consider liking and sharing it to help me continue spreading these valuable lessons. Before we go any further, if you like the theme of this video, please drop a 1 in the comments to let me know. If there's something you'd like to see more of or less of, feel free to leave a 0 so I can make this content better for you. Now, let's get started. The first aspect to consider is time, which is undoubtedly our most precious resource. We often hear the phrase, "Time is money," but it goes so much deeper than that. Time, once it slips away, is gone forever. Have you ever truly stopped to reflect on how our relationship with time evolves as we age? Have you ever wondered how it feels to understand, at a core level, that we simply don't have an infinite supply of it? A thought-provoking study from Harvard University delves into this profound shift in our perception of time as we get older. It reveals something that most of us intuitively understand but may not fully appreciate. As we accumulate years, the way we view time radically changes. When we are young, time stretches out endlessly before us. It feels like we have all the time in the world, and there is always something more to chase, always something more to achieve. It's almost as if time is a vast ocean, boundless, inviting us to dive into every possibility. But as we get older, that boundless ocean slowly narrows. It's not that we lose time, but we begin to feel it slipping through our fingers in a way we never imagined possible. It is as though the river of time, once wide and flowing freely, now has banks that we can see, narrow, restricting, and urging us to reconsider how we spend every drop of it. Psychologists call this shift in perception a change in temporal perspective, and it's a natural progression that comes with age. As our years increase, our brains inevitably begin to prioritize the present. We stop measuring time in terms of future ambitions and start measuring it by the richness of each fleeting moment. We seek depth in our experiences, not just in quantity. The chase for shallow, unimportant things fades, and we find ourselves gravitating toward what truly matters. Time becomes sacred. Every hour, every minute, every second transforms into a treasure. Looking back, I can see how I used to be caught up in the hustle, feeling like I had to be everywhere, do everything, be someone to everyone. But as time has moved on, I've come to cherish simplicity. Today, I no longer feel the need to fill my life with distractions that deplete my energy or participate in endless conversations that leave me emotionally drained. I no longer chase after empty events or try to impress anyone with my schedule. Instead, I've learned the true art of living in the moment. I relish the quiet, those small moments of peace that may seem insignificant to others but are everything to me. The light filtering through the windows on a quiet morning, the gentle rustling of leaves outside my window, or the sheer joy of losing myself in a book that resonates with me on a level that few people can. Time is no longer a relentless ticking clock or a string of appointments on a calendar. It's a reflection of what truly matters. Now, I ask myself every day, how do I want to spend this moment? Who do I want to spend it with? Does this experience nurture my soul, or does it leave me feeling empty? The truth, though hard to accept, is that we can't do everything. We can't be everywhere. And perhaps the most profound realization that comes with age is that we cannot afford to waste time on things or people that don't enrich our lives. This realization isn't a limitation. It is freedom. It is the freedom to choose what is truly meaningful and to let go of what no longer serves us. It is the freedom to say no to the noise and embrace what brings peace, joy, and fulfillment. Time, once an abstract concept, now becomes our most precious companion, one that we have learned to guard, nurture, and use wisely. And that, perhaps, is one of the greatest gifts that aging can offer. The wisdom to live deliberately and purposefully, knowing that every moment counts. The second phenomenon I want to talk about is what's called social pruning. This process, while completely natural, holds so much weight and significance as we grow older, and it's worth reflecting on. I've come to understand it in a way that feels almost liberating. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a gardener in the quiet of their garden, carefully trimming away the dead branches of a tree to make way for the new growth. This isn't done out of cruelty, but with the understanding that for the plant to flourish, some things must be let go. Similarly, as we age, we begin to do this with our relationships. We start shedding the connections that no longer serve us, that no longer nurture our spirit, and we make room for the ones that truly resonate with who we are today. This process isn't rooted in malice or selfishness. It's a conscious, self-loving decision we make to honor ourselves, our growth, and our authenticity. When we're younger, the world often convinces us that we must collect friends, acquaintances, and social circles like trophies. We're conditioned to believe that success in life is measured by how many people we know, how many events we attend, and how many social gatherings we're invited to. It feels like we have to please everyone, stretch ourselves thin to keep up with the constant demand of social obligations, and be constantly surrounded by people. It's exhausting, honestly. But something shifts as the years pass, doesn't it? We begin to realize that true fulfillment doesn't lie in the quantity of our connections, but in the depth of them. The quality, not the numbers, becomes what truly matters. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but it's one of the most freeing transformations we can go through. And let me share something powerful with you. There's science to back up this very truth. It's called the socio-emotional selectivity theory, and it shows us that as we grow older and become more aware of the limited time we have, we naturally start to focus our energy only on the relationships that truly enrich us. The ones that bring us joy, peace, and fulfillment. This realization, for me, was one of the most freeing feelings I've ever experienced. It's as if a weight was lifted from my shoulders. I don't have to please anyone anymore. I don't need to meet everyone's expectations or attend every event. Instead, I'm choosing to surround myself with people who truly understand me. People who embrace my vulnerabilities, my flaws, and my true self without judgment. There's a deep peace that comes with that. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Now, I find myself cherishing those few, deeply meaningful connections more than ever. A real conversation, one that comes from the heart, a genuine smile, or shared laughter with someone who truly gets me. Those moments are infinitely more valuable than 100 shallow interactions with people who barely scratch the surface of who I am. It's not about isolation or shutting myself off from the world. It's about clarity, about finding the space to nurture only the relationships that matter. This shift is the culmination of years of lived experiences, of heartbreaks, of lessons learned along the way, and of understanding who truly deserves a place in my life. It's about shedding the mindless social obligations that drain me and stepping into relationships that nourish my soul. And it's not just an emotional shift, it's a physical one, 2. I've come to realize how much toxic or superficial relationships can negatively impact our health. Research from Harvard Medical School has shown that unhealthy relationships can elevate stress levels, which can lead to serious health issues and even shorten our lives. On the flip side, cultivating authentic, deep relationships has been shown to improve both mental and physical well-being, allowing us to live with more energy, peace, and vitality. Today, I feel lighter. I no longer waste my time or energy on relationships that drain me. I've stopped worrying about whether I'm meeting everyone's expectations or pleasing people who don't truly add value to my life. I've learned that saying no to the wrong people is just another way of saying yes to my peace of mind, my health, and my happiness. And that, my friend, is a choice I make every single day. It's a gift I give myself, and it's the most important gift I can offer, not just to myself but to those who truly matter. The third important topic you should know about is solitude, which often represents a refuge, not a condemnation. Solitude is one of those experiences that, as I've grown older, has transformed into one of my most treasured gifts, though it wasn't always this way. In my younger years, solitude felt like a curse. It felt like an enemy I had to outrun. There were times when being alone seemed unbearable. It was a place where I felt lost, incomplete, and somehow unimportant. I viewed it as a dark and empty space, an abyss where no one could find me. I would even tell myself that if I was alone, it meant I wasn't good enough, that I was somehow falling short of what I should be doing in life, surrounded by others, constantly engaged in social activity, seeking out the validation that so many others seem to find so easily. For much of my life, I associated being alone with feeling abandoned, forgotten, or unloved. I would fear the silence, dread the emptiness, believing that it was a reflection of a life unfulfilled. But as the years passed, and with them came wisdom and experience, my relationship with solitude shifted, slowly, subtly, but deeply. Now, at 70, I see solitude as something altogether different. It has become a sanctuary, a sacred space where I can truly reconnect with myself, free from the noise and expectations that once defined my every action. Solitude is not emptiness, not the gaping hole I once feared. It's fullness. It's the space in which I've discovered a deeper connection to my soul, my own heart. It's a profound gift that I never truly understood until I finally embraced it. The solitude I once feared has become my greatest teacher, offering me insights and clarity that I could never have achieved in the rush and bustle of daily life. For so long, I used to think that being alone meant I was somehow missing out on something. I believed that the world, full of its distractions, was where I needed to be to feel whole. I looked at others who seemed to always be surrounded by people and thought they had it all figured out. I wanted to be like them, always in the center of things, always engaged, always active. But as the years have passed, I've come to realize that the very thing I was afraid of, the quiet, the stillness, is where I have found the most peace. It's in the solitude that I am truly free to be myself, unencumbered by the need to impress anyone or fulfill someone else's expectations. It's a place where I can set down the weight of the world and simply be, without the constant tug of what I should be doing or who I should be pleasing. It is, in many ways, my truest self, revealed in the space where I no longer have to pretend or perform. What I've come to understand is that solitude is not a sign of isolation. It's not the same as loneliness, nor is it something that needs to be avoided or filled with distractions. Solitude, when chosen consciously, is an act of self-care, a deliberate invitation to spend time with yourself to heal, reflect, and grow. I've learned that when I seek solitude, it's not because I'm rejecting the world or others, but because I'm choosing to connect deeply with myself. It is in these moments that I reflect on everything I have lived through, the lessons I have learned, and the wisdom I've gained. I use solitude as an opportunity to process the experiences that have shaped me, to honor the journey I've taken, and to recalibrate the road ahead. I cannot overstate how much this shift has changed me. I used to rush through life, always seeking the next thing, the next place, the next connection. And now, when I walk alone, I feel a deep sense of connection to the world around me. The wind on my face, the sound of birds calling, the rustle of leaves, it all feels so real, so present. In solitude, I can savor these small moments without feeling rushed. When I read a book, I no longer skim through the pages just to finish. I allow myself to truly experience each word, each sentence, and each thought. There is no pressure to be anywhere else, to do anything else. I've learned to slow down and let the world unfold at its own pace, free from the urgency that used to drive me. And even in the stillness of simply sitting in my favorite chair, watching the world outside my window, I find peace. This is the gift of solitude. It invites me to feel deeply, to savor life in its quietest, most profound moments. Studies have shown that the older we get, the more we benefit from solitude. Research published in the Journal of Aging Studies suggests that older adults who embrace solitude through practices like meditation, journaling, or even quiet walks in nature report a greater sense of inner peace and contentment than those who fill every moment with distractions or the company of others. Solitude has been linked to increased happiness and emotional well-being. It's not about withdrawing from the world, but about choosing to reconnect with yourself. And as I've spent more time alone, I've discovered how deeply enriching it can be. It's in those moments of reflection that I've come to understand myself in ways I never could before. The solitude I once dreaded has now become a haven, a place where I can pause, breathe, and truly see myself. What I also appreciate now is how much solitude has enriched my relationships. The more I've come to cherish my time alone, the more meaningful my interactions with others have become. I no longer seek out company out of loneliness or a sense of obligation. Instead, I choose to be with others because I genuinely want to share my time, my thoughts, and my energy with them. There's a purity to these connections now. Each conversation feels more profound, each exchange more genuine. I am no longer trying to fill a void or distract myself from something I fear. I am simply enjoying the presence of another person, fully and wholeheartedly. Through solitude, I have also learned the importance of self-acceptance. It takes a certain courage to sit with yourself in complete silence, to look inward without the need for external validation. But that is the true gift of solitude. It allows you to accept yourself, flaws and all, without judgment. When you embrace solitude, you are embracing your humanity, your imperfections, and your strengths. There is something incredibly empowering about being able to spend time with yourself, knowing that you are enough, just as you are. It's taken me many years to reach this place, but it's one of the greatest rewards of aging. It has taught me that true well-being doesn't come from constant motion, constant busyness, or constant connection with others. True well-being comes from being able to sit in stillness, find peace within yourself, and embrace the silence without fear. Solitude, at its core, is not a punishment or a consequence of aging, it's a refuge. It is a place of rest, a place of rejuvenation, and a place of profound personal growth. When I embrace it, I discover that my inner world is far richer than I ever realized. There is so much depth in the silence, so much beauty in the solitude. And in those quiet moments, I am reminded that I am never truly alone. Because in solitude, I am finally able to be at peace with myself, to connect with my truest self, and to experience the fullness of life in ways that no crowd, no external noise could ever provide. In this stillness, I have found the most valuable companion of all, myself. The fourth aspect we cannot forget is our energy. As I've grown older, one of the most profound realizations I've had is the undeniable truth that my energy is no longer boundless. When I was younger, I felt invincible, as if I could take on anything the world threw my way. Whether it was demanding tasks, complex challenges, or difficult people, I didn't hesitate. There was always an abundance of energy to dive in headfirst, to push through any difficulty, and to keep going, no matter how exhausting it seemed. I was fueled by this relentless drive, convinced that there was no limit to what I could handle. But as the years have passed, I've come to understand that energy is not an infinite resource. It's finite and precious, and it needs to be protected. This truth has become clearer with time, especially when I've experienced those moments of feeling completely drained, not physically, but emotionally and mentally. I know you've probably experienced it too. The kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from a long day of work, but from an emotionally taxing situation or a draining interaction. Have you ever left a conversation or an encounter with someone, and instead of feeling lifted, you felt like every ounce of your energy had been siphoned away? That feeling of depletion, when every word and every glance seemed to take more from you than it gave. Those moments serve as harsh reminders that not all interactions and relationships are the same. Some people and experiences nourish us, filling our hearts and minds with joy, vitality, and a sense of fulfillment. These are the relationships that give back, and that make us feel seen, valued, and understood. They enrich our lives, leaving us feeling inspired, not drained. But on the other hand, there are those relationships, those interactions that seem to deplete us, leaving us empty and worn out. They're like energy vampires, constantly demanding more than they give, leaving us feeling exhausted and unappreciated. As I've gotten older, I've developed a new kind of wisdom, one that involves fiercely guarding my energy. It's not about being harsh or cutting people off, but about being aware of where and with whom I spend my time and emotional investment. I've learned to say no without guilt, no to unnecessary drama, no to arguments that I know will lead nowhere, and no to people who take without ever offering anything in return. The freedom that comes with saying no is profound, and it's something I wish I had learned sooner. For so much of my younger years, I felt this internal pressure to please everyone, to always be the one who fixes problems, to be the mediator, the peacekeeper. I thought that if I didn't do these things, I was failing somehow. But over time, I've realized that I don't have to be everything to everyone. I don't have to solve problems that aren't mine to fix. I don't need to spend my energy on relationships or situations that drain me and leave me feeling empty. Instead, I've learned the importance of protecting my energy, and of spending it wisely on things and people that truly nourish me. Whether it's a good book that stretches my mind and offers new perspectives, or a walk in nature that grounds me and reminds me of the beauty in the world, I've come to cherish those moments that restore my spirit. And it's not just about physical activities or passive moments of self-care. It's also about the deep, meaningful connections I now prioritize. A sincere smile from someone who truly cares, a conversation that feels light and effortless, a shared moment of laughter. All of these things fill me up in ways I hadn't fully appreciated before. I now recognize them as the true treasures of life. Science also supports this realization. Studies have shown that our brains and bodies are not designed to handle continuous emotional strain, particularly from one-sided or toxic relationships. Chronic emotional stress can have a profound impact on our health, affecting everything from our immune system to our mental clarity. So, choosing to protect your energy isn't a selfish act. It's an act of self-preservation and self-love. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. This awareness has helped me live with greater intention. Every moment I spend, whether it's in the company of others, immersed in a hobby, or simply resting, feels like a conscious choice rather than a default action. I no longer feel the need to overextend myself, to say yes when I want to say no, or to bend over backward trying to meet everyone else's expectations. I've stopped trying to be everything for everyone, and instead, I've focused on being what I truly need to be for myself. This shift in perspective has brought a sense of peace and freedom that I never fully grasped when I was younger. It's as if I've permitted myself to exist solely for my well-being, and that has made all the difference. Another essential realization I've come to in my 70s is the role that gratitude and forgiveness play in finding inner peace. I spent many years thinking that peace came from accumulating wealth, achieving success, or ticking off a list of life's milestones. But the truth is, peace comes from letting go of the things, people, and emotions that weigh us down. And let me tell you, nothing weighs you down more than anger, bitterness, and resentment. Carrying a grudge is like carrying around a heavy, invisible stone that weighs you down with every step. You don't realize how much it consumes you until you choose to put it down. I spent years wondering why certain people disappointed me, why things didn't go as I expected, or why life seemed unfair. The mental and emotional energy I poured into these thoughts was exhausting. But over time, I realized that forgiveness is not something we do for others. It's a gift we give ourselves. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened or excusing the wrong that was done. It simply means that we stop allowing that hurt to define us, control our present, and shape our future. Every time I choose to forgive, it's like I'm lifting a heavy burden off my heart, making space for something much more beautiful: gratitude. Gratitude has a transformative power. It opens your eyes to the blessings you have, to the love you're surrounded by, and to the quiet moments of joy that make life so precious. I've learned to focus on what I have, rather than what I don't, and this shift in mindset has brought me so much peace. I don't need a crowd to feel complete anymore. I no longer feel the need to surround myself with dozens of acquaintances or be constantly busy. A few deep, meaningful relationships are enough for me. Those relationships, the ones where I feel truly connected, are the ones I cherish the most. And here's the beauty. Practicing gratitude isn't just an emotional exercise. It has real, measurable benefits. Studies have shown that gratitude can reduce stress, improve mental health, and even lower the risk of heart disease. So, it's not just about feeling better emotionally. It's about feeling better physically, too. I've also made a conscious effort to avoid carrying grudges. Life is too short, and I am too precious to waste my time holding on to bitterness or resentment. I choose to focus on what matters, the relationships that nourish me, the moments of peace, the small joys that make life worth living. In doing so, I've found a sense of inner peace that I wish I had discovered much earlier. Letting go of the things that weigh you down, whether they're toxic people, past hurts, or unrealistic expectations, is one of the greatest lessons life can teach. And now, at my age, I can say with confidence that I've finally discovered the true meaning of freedom. It's not about having it all. It's about letting go of what no longer serves you, embracing the things that truly matter, and living with intention, peace, and gratitude. This is the life I've worked hard to create, and it's a life I wouldn't trade for anything. As I reflect on everything I've shared today, I'm reminded of how much we all have the power to shape our lives through the choices we make. Protecting our energy, embracing gratitude, learning the art of forgiveness, and letting go of what no longer serves us. These are lessons I've learned over the years, and I truly hope they resonate with you as well. So, I want to ask you, what have you learned from this journey so far? Is there one thing that stands out to you that you will bring into practice in your own life? I'd love to hear from you. Please take a moment to comment below and share one thing you've learned today that you plan to apply moving forward. Let's continue this conversation and support one another on our paths to greater peace, fulfillment, and freedom. If you enjoyed this video and found it meaningful, please don't forget to leave your comment, like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Your support means the world, and I can't wait to continue growing and learning together. Thank you for watching, and take care.